What is the IRL equivalent of coming back to a level 1 dungeon as a level 100 character?
Wingardium Leviosa.
I would say Max Verstappen taking his road driving test at 18, having already raced in 14 F1 races. Edit, a lot of people have been questioning my answer. Don't forget that going into a level 1 dungeon as a level 100 character, you could still lose. Rather unlikely, but still possible.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Destroying elementary school dodgeball.
Wingardium Leviosa.
This is basically what being a camp counselor is like. As the overweight, asthmatic fuck who actively tried to hide in most elementary school sports, being a literal god on the field of battle surrounded by second and third graders years later was so invigorating. Hitting them with a ball hard enough that they jump off the ground. The little voices cheering, chanting for blood and circuses. Intoxicating.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Don't even get me started on kickball. I was a mildly athletic camp counselor, and 10-year-olds turn into a pack of screaming monkeys when you get to boot a gym ball and get that noise. No idea how to type it, but you know, the kickball getting toe-bashed noise.
Wingardium Leviosa.
I'm sure a lot of people take jobs like that. People have to pay bills, sometimes.
Wingardium Leviosa.
People generally have bills to pay all the time. This isn't terribly uncommon. College-level jobs often suck. Many PhDs get caught in adjunct hell for shit money with no benefits. In some areas teachers can make some decent coin, especially compared to being a career adjunct in the same town, and many states offer alternative credentialing to people who have advanced degrees, especially in areas that are hard to attract new teachers to, like science and math. $55,000 per year, most of the sum off, health insurance and a pension, or would you prefer $25,000 if you're super lucky, no benefits, and they'll work you until you drop dead of exhaustion because they know there is another desperate academic behind you waiting to take your place.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Searching naked boobs on Google Images, and not feeling even a flicker of arousal as you browse.
Wingardium Leviosa.
For real? I remember when I was first starting my porn searching career and just the thumbnails and video titles on Pornhub would be enough for me. Now I've got to find weird shit. Like, a 400,000 word slow building fanfic of an anime I like that leads to the main character getting railed anally.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Bypassing the Roblox chat filter with obscure curse words or things that sound a lot like curse words now that you have properly studied.
Wingardium Leviosa.
I remember in the old days of RuneScape, they had a good amount of bad words censored. Bullshit, and fuck were censored, but somehow bullfuck was perfectly acceptable, for about 3 days after we discovered it. I still say it sometimes IRL, cause it was pretty amazing at the time.
Wingardium Leviosa.
For a while I was helping evaluate the educational effectiveness of children's games online. Every so often I'd be in a multiplayer game with kids. I stomped those kids. Better believe I know my addition numbers. I can do multiplication too. And you better grow a third hand if you're going to beat me in this typing competition.
Wingardium Leviosa.
I'm a teacher, and since our semester exam was our band concert, we didn't actually have anything for the kids to do on the actual day of semester exams. So I brought my Switch and a few controllers and let the kids fight it out in Smash Brothers for the chance to fight Mr. U/Arcalith in a 3-on-1 battle. I stomped them all when the winners faced me. I teach 12-year-olds though, so.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Going to your first workplace as a customer.
Wingardium Leviosa.
My first job was working at Chuck E. Cheese's as the guy in the rat suit. Have pity for the guy in the suit, it's basically a loose-fitting neoprene scuba suit that never gets washed, despite multiple people sweating like animals inside it.
Wingardium Leviosa.
They wouldn't even let you take it home and wash it.
Wingardium Leviosa.
There was only one suit per store, so it always had to be in the restaurant. Chucky would need to do a floor walk around once per 2 hours. Multiple people would be in the suit in any given day due to shifts. Plus it was super bulky and not easy to transport. Even if someone got it home to clean, with all the fur, it would probably take more than a day to dry. In the lifetime of any Chucky costume, I doubt any of them have ever been cleaned.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Reading children's books.
Wingardium Leviosa.
There's actually a line of children's books for babies that don't even have any words. Just illustrations. It's assumed the parents have the words memorized, think, Humpty Dumpty, Jack, and Jill, etc., and automatically know when to turn the page. Illustration of a boy and a girl on a hill with a bucket. Jack and Jill went up the hill. Turns page greater than next page equals kids lowering bucket into a well to fetch a pail of water. Turns page.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah, my instructor always said white belts were the scariest. Didn't realize this until I sparred with one. I have very long legs, so keeping distance and throwing kicks was my go-to. This guy took a hard side kick straight to the gut and ran me down like a dog. After our second round of this, I decided if one kick wouldn't stop him, two would, so I jumped and kicked him with my other leg after he tanked the first.
Wingardium Leviosa.
After all, the greatest swordsman doesn't fear the second greatest, they fear the worst. I remember reading a book written on mortal fencing from Italy that was translated online, from 1711 I believe, and there was a chapter on facing unskilled and aggressive opponents. In short, the author, Giuseppe Colombiano or however you spell it, said you should never try and fight these people, and that more than a few of his friends that were sword masters of his time had died in similar scenarios. I know you meant it as an analogy, but I just remembered reading it and thinking how literally true that statement was in that past and how true it remains now.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Attending a high school reunion as the most successful person in your graduating class.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Not the most, but easily one of. I only went out of solidarity because my twin brother organized it. He was class prey, so it was his duty. I would not say this is being level 100 in a level 1 dungeon, it was just weird and awkward for me.
Wingardium Leviosa.
What do you even have in common with those people after 10 years? The people who went to college, joined the military, worked a trade, or never left home all have nothing in common with each other besides a few past experiences.
Wingardium Leviosa.
They are quickly becoming irrelevant. With technology and social media as it is now, it's easy to stay in touch with the people you want to. Reunions used to serve the purpose of reconnecting with people you otherwise had not been able to see since school.
Wingardium Leviosa.
I once heard from someone wise. The earlier reunions are for showing off. The middle ones are because you miss the good old days. The later ones are because you're all glad you're still alive. I'm 13 years out and didn't go to any of them. I stayed in contact with the few people I cared about.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Dealing with your high school crush that curved you, 10 years later when you have your shit together and body on point.
Wingardium Leviosa.
You inspired me to see if I could dig her out of Facebook. Either I haven't found her or she's unrecognizably fat.
Wingardium Leviosa.
I got unrecognizably fat after high school. And then after college I lost 70 pounds. All my social media still has all my fat pictures on it and few if any recent pictures. Go right ahead, creepers from high school, continue thinking I'm gross and leave me alone. Smile?
Wingardium Leviosa.
Going to a class concert of your very first violin teacher after becoming a professional violinist.
Wingardium Leviosa.
I was going to say something along these lines. Every time I've gone in as a guest artist or whatever to public schools, they're all tilde amazed at things like third position, fourth finger, using the whole bow, dynamic range. Like hell yeah, kids, I can do that shit, now watch me do all of it at once.
Wingardium Leviosa.
After 5, 10, 20, or 100 plus years of programming experience, when we start to learn a new language, we always start with the hello, world program.
Wingardium Leviosa.
100 plus years of programming experience. So you're finally qualified for entry-level positions.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Currently in that same position, and I always wonder how the UK can apparently have both a shortage of skilled workers and an abundance of skilled programmers at the same time.
Wingardium Leviosa.
All I want is someone with a master's degree who can also subsist entirely off of constructive optional criticism and a poor work/life balance.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Worked for a small company. Their IT pool, myself included, consisted of people who worked there and then were promoted to the department. Anyways, one of my co-workers quits, and the owners had it in their heads that they needed to replace him with a GA tech grad, as if some tech grad with a CS degree is going to take that entry-level help desk job at a small company.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Having a PhD in math and going back to pre-algebra.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Currently in a math PA program. Have Calc 3 and higher under belt. School just informed me
Wingardium Leviosa.
my university decided just before I graduated that they were no longer going to accept my Physics 1 AP credit, after I had aced a further 3 physics classes. I cannot discuss the terms of the agreement we came to, but it did not include me taking Physics 1. I almost wanted to, but I had other shit to do.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Coming to university as a mature student and ending up on a pub crawl with kids having their first taste of alcohol-fueled freedom.
Wingardium Leviosa.
For fun, my wife and I went to a pub crawl as part of our anniversary weekend. It ended up being very fun to sit in a corner and watch the mating rituals. Also became a scapegoats twice when girls needed to get away from the too pushy guy. As a great benefit, we were introduced to so many fruity/girly drinks.
Wingardium Leviosa.
When I was in elementary school, I was very unathletic. I tried to do a pull-up on the monkey bars, fell down, and got the wind knocked out of me. When I was in high school, I started exercising more. At age 18, I went back to the elementary school playground and did pull-ups. Felt like completely trashing the monster that had given me a mortal wound at level 1.
Wingardium Leviosa.
My son's kindergarten homework. Completely disregard helping him with it. I showed up to a PTA meeting and helped mandate an entire restructure of the way homework packets are formatted.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Kindergarten has homework now. FFS?
Wingardium Leviosa.
Yep. Homework is given but not turned in. They also need to know a lot more going into it. They need to be able to count to 20 and know their ABC, and a bunch of other things.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah, I have many kindergartners in my library knowing how to read already. They always try to read ahead during story time. Lamau?
Wingardium Leviosa.
Is that not normal? Kinders knowing how to read. I know I could, but it was a bit long ago and quite young at the time, so I seem to have forgotten if anyone else could. Edit, so now I'm looking at my old K8 on Google Street View. Picture is dated last year and the place is exactly the same. You really think maybe they'd have got some new playground equipment in the last 25 years?
Wingardium Leviosa.
Fighting your elementary school bully's child.
Wingardium Leviosa.
When I was 5, a 13-year-old stole my bike to show off to the older kids. I told my dad and he told me to go confront him. The kid pushed me to the ground. My dad came running out screaming like some angry Viking, and the kid ran screaming and crying. They ran in circles for a bit before the kid's parents pulled up in their car, drunk as fuck. They were yelling while they were getting out, until my dad started yelling at them. They shut the fuck up right there and let my dad yell. Then one of the high school kids pointed out the kid that stole my bike pissed his pants. Everyone laughed at him, and I never saw him again.
Wingardium Leviosa.
An NHL player playing in a pee-wee league at the local rink.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Speaking of, since the Predators were just in the playoffs, I still think Nashville needs a pee-wee hockey team called the Child Predators.
Hey guys, this is the Rogue YouTuber here. I recently had a big change in my life. I had a baby daughter. Here she is. If you could do me a favor and remember to hit the subscribe button and bang the bell, I'm hoping to really create a YouTube channel that really gets people excited and brings people the best, most interesting content collated from across the internet. I'm saving up to save my little girl to Carnegie Mellon Computer Science Department. So please remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.